This is John Kroc, Dr. John Kroc, Director of the Consulting Archaeology Program and a professor at the University of Vermont Anthropology Program. And John, you want to just tell us a little bit about this site and the interesting context in which it was found?
Sure, we're working here on behalf of the Vermont Agency of Transportation, who proposes to put a roundabout in this really rough intersection here off of Route 7 in Burlington, just as Route 7 comes into Burlington and splits into several different roads. And so the traffic solution is going to expand the area of the road and expand it into what was identified as a potentially sensitive landform for Native American sites. And this would be sensitive for pre-contact sites dating, before 500 years ago, before historic Europeans came into the area, and before Burlington was developed, and may have even been as old as when Lake Champlain, the Champlain Basin, was home to a saltwater ocean. And this could have been a bench during one of the receding periods of that ocean into what we now call Lake Champlain. And as people moved throughout the region, they sort of hugged close to the edge of Lake Champlain for obvious reasons. It's a great transportation corridor, a lot of fish, birds, and so on. And so this was identified as a possible spot. We began the Phase 1 survey digging in what's now the schoolyard for the Christ the King School here in South Burlington. And we found ourselves going through a lot of historic debris, recent artifacts, metal, glass, and things, and it was an obvious fill deposit. But at the bottom of some of these pits, 3 feet below the surface, we found an intact layer dating back to the earliest plow horizon, going back probably to the turn of the 18th to 19th century. And so we needed some help to get down to that layer. And so we employed the use of a backhoe to actually strip off 3 feet of topsoil in the area that's going to be impacted by the proposed project, just to get down to the layer that we believed would have been sensitive for Native American artifacts. And we did that, and lo and behold, identified additional materials in this area, likely some local raw material, chert or flint that Native people used to make stone tools, may have come from the Hathaway Formation with some outcrops near St. Albans, for example. They traded this stone widely and used it throughout time. We don't really yet know exactly how old the site is, but we found a cultural feature, probably a fire hearth or pit feature that has some burned bone in it, food bone, that we may be able to date at a future time to figure out exactly how old the site is. But really exciting just to know that here in Burlington, there's still Native American sites buried under what we consider to be our modern city. And these are relatively intact despite historic development, including roads, infrastructure, utilities, construction, etc. We still have these resources right in the heart of Burlington.
Yeah, I think that's really an amazing lesson at this site and really exciting find. And so thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So as we can see here, we are in the heart of Burlington. Any of you who have come into Burlington off of the 189 exit have probably gone around this roundabout a number of times. Dense urban area, had a lot of changes, and we're staring at a lot of overburden, in fact about 3 feet of modern fill. And one might think that the Native American archaeological occupations that were once here would have been obliterated, but as we can see here, remarkably, there is an intact Native American archaeological site below all of this modern fill that was found by the University of Vermont Consulting Archaeology Project as part of the Agency of Transportation project. And here, right in this wall, might be difficult to see with the shadows, but is an intact feature, likely a fire hearth. Bone has been coming out of it. and remarkably well preserved in these Champlain Sea deposits. So as we can see here, Brett is shovel shaving off the last of the modern fill, and below it is exposing the intact original soils that have the Native American archaeological site within it.